Hey guys, it's Marissa. So today we're going to be reviewing the Bloodless palette by the Jeffree Star Cosmetics. I wasn't able to get the full collection because I'm going to be honest, I was still a little bit broke from the conspiracy collection. If you haven't watched that video, I actually spent like over $350 on the whole collection. But if you want to see how I did this look and what I thought of the palette, then just keep on watching. So before we actually get into the look, I'm actually just going to be talking about the packaging for a second. I really think that he went above and beyond with the packaging, but the one thing that I've noticed is that the really front part of that little tab that I was just showing right there, it kind of was a little bit flimsy, and when I first opened the package from the box, it almost, like the palette almost fell out. So that was one thing that I didn't really like. Like I wish there was one more extra little tab there that you could tuck in so that the palette wouldn't fall out. And then the second thing was that I ordered 2 palettes because I'm actually going to be selling one on eBay. Accepting any kind of offers, even if it's at normal price, just let me know down below or in the description. You can click on it and you can just send me your offers through there. But one of them actually came in ripped, and I don't know if they do it by hand or if it's a machine that does it, but I know that they're going to be going on like a vacation after this launch, so I don't know if like the workers were just like a little bit rushed. But I just noticed that the packaging was not as taken care of as the conspiracy one. But then again, like how I said, I don't know if it was just the way that the machines did it, but it was still really cool, really above and beyond like what most other makeup brands do. And I'm not trying to hate on this at all. Like, this is my personal opinion. I really love this collection. I think it's a gorgeous collection, and this is definitely like one of the most unique palettes that I own now. But let's get into the shades. So first I'm going to be swatching like the first 2 rows. So the first 2 is actually Take the Crown and Your Majesty. And then next I'm swatching Royal Pain, Wet Jewel, Beauty Sleep, and Deviant. And they're all really pretty. My favorite shade probably from that second row is Wet Jewel. And I'm pretty sure that's like one of the new formulas that he added into the palette too. I think the new formulas are actually Wet Jewel, Pink Magic, and Sworn Enemy, just because those ones have like a really unique texture to it also. But the third row, that Executioner shade, is really gorgeous as well, since that's like a black with glitter, and usually when you swatch the black with glitter shades, they usually don't transfer the glitter on there. So I was really surprised about that, and it was like a really gorgeous color, so I definitely will be using that for this look also. For the fourth row, I will be swatching Blood Queen, Monarchy, Vivid Mood, and High King. And these are all really gorgeous shades also. Most of the purples are in this row, I noticed. And you can't really see the Monarchy shade because that's a lot like my skin tone, so I apologize for that. I did have a problem swatching a few of the shades, and one of them was High King. Now, I did receive this from the mail like right before this video, and it's really cold where I'm at. I live in Michigan, and it's been super freezing cold temperatures with snow, so that might be why I had a problem with that. So if you notice that I was having a few problems with that in the swatching video, then that's probably why. But I really do love all the shades. They're really super gorgeous, and they're all very pigmented. And my favorite shades are obviously like any of the glitter or shimmery shades. I'm always a sucker for those ones. But if I were to choose 2 shades from the palette that I could switch out to be a different kind of shade, like something that matched more of the purple tones, I'd probably choose the shade Vile Serpent and Bleeding Heart, just because I think it's a little bit out there compared to the other shades. I think it might be hard to incorporate that with some of the looks, but that's just my own personal opinion. I still think that you could use those shades for something else, and definitely I will be using this palette a lot more. So if you have any like certain looks that you want me to do in the future, just let me know in the comments below, and I'll definitely take those into consideration, because this is a super fun palette to just play with. And if you're like a super huge fan of purple or just really love Jeffree Star, then I think that this would be like a super good palette for you, and you would definitely want to get it, especially when it goes back in stock, because I'm pretty sure it's sold out everywhere now. I bought my palette off of the Morphe site, and that was like one of the very first sites to sell out, and then shortly after that, that's when Jeffree Star's site completely sold out. But either way, I'm just like really super honored and happy that I was able to get my hands on it before it completely sold out for me. But that's basically everything that I had to say about the palette and my personal opinions about it. But let's just get right into the tutorial. So to create a base for my eyes before we apply the eyeshadow, I'm going to be using the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer, and it's in the shade Fair Neutral, and I'll just be applying that to my eyelids and blending everything in using my finger. So I'm going to try to incorporate as many purples from this palette into one makeup look. So the first shade that we're going to be dipping into is the shade High King, and I'll be applying that to my crease using the Morphe M321 brush. And because I'm wearing like a light colored shirt of purple, I'm going to be taking the shade Deviant and I'm going to be applying that with the Morphe M330 brush and just trying to lighten that color purple up a bit. And I'm also going to be using this brush a lot just to buff out the shades and blend them in together.
If you find the one, you should never give her up. I think it's the way life changes when in love, yeah. I surround my soul with the positivity. That's why I don't worry about the things that I don't see, yeah. These days I don't worry about much. I think we should have some more fun.
So to darken up my crease, I'm going to be dipping into the shade Blood Queen, and I'll just be applying that with the same brush that I previously used, and I'll be applying the same steps to both eyes. And I'm really just trying to concentrate and be able to just show you as many shades of purple within this look as much as possible, just so that way you can see all the individual shades themselves on the eye.
Days when we were young, I'll take a hit and still finish in one, yeah, yeah. Oh. Memory lane, isn't that too far away from our hearts, yeah. The ones we keep close, we should never let go. So tell me who you love, baby. Take a moment to unwind.
On top of Blood Queen, I'm going to be using the shade Dungeon, and I'll be applying that using that same Morphe M321 brush, and I'll just be applying that in my crease and also above my crease and just buffing it out. And then I'm just going to really focus on blending and just switch between those two brushes that I use and make sure that everything is completely evened and buffed out.
Realign yourself with the world, baby. Breathe slow, baby.
For my lid, we're going to be using one of the new shades with the ingredients, and it's in the shade Pink Magic. I really love this shade. I feel like this could go with a lot of really nice pink looks too, besides just the purple shades. And so I'm just applying that with my finger. It just brings the whole look to a different level, honestly. To create more of like a smoked out wing effect, I'm going to be using the shade Executioner, and I'm just going to be applying that to the outer corners of my eye, and I'm going to be using that same Morphe M321 brush for this. And I noticed with this shade that you can really just layer on how deep and dark that you want that black to be. And there was a little bit of fallout with this shade also, but I think it's just because of the brush that I was applying it with. I could not find my eyeliner brush anywhere, so I'm just using that same Morphe M321 brush. But besides that, I really like the way the shade was, and I just think it's really gorgeous with that sparkles in it. And then to just clean up any kind of fallout and just sharpen that wing, I'm going to be using the Clinique makeup remover wipes and just really just sharpening those edges up and cleaning everything from under my eye. And then I'm going to be repeating those same steps to the other eye and just making sure that those wings are completely even from each other. While I was working on my eyeliner wings, I also deepened the outer corners of my eye using that same shade Executioner, just so it was a little bit more darker and deeper, and it just looked a little bit more dramatic. To make sure that the eyeliner wings really stood out, I took the Kat Von D tattoo liner in the shade Trooper Black, and it's the waterproof tattoo liner pen, and I'm just kind of sharpening like the outer corners of those wings and just making sure that they really stand out. And then to add a little bit more shimmer to the center of my eye, I will be using that shade Wet Jewel. To prime the face, I'm going to be using the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer, and I'll be applying that everywhere and just rubbing it in. If you've watched my previous videos, I don't usually wear foundation unless it's for like a certain event because like my skin's very sensitive and it can break out really easily. So I'm just going to use concealer, and the concealer I'm using is the same thing as the base for my eyes, which is the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer, and that is in the shade Fair Neutral. And I'm just going to be blending everything in using that Real Techniques Beauty Complexion Sponge. my brows, I'm going to be filling them in using the Mally Evercolor Brow Gel in the shade Sable, and I'll be applying that with an e.l.f. angled brush. And to set my face, I'm going to be using one of my favorite face powders, and it's the Airspun Loose Face Powder in the shade Naturally Neutral. To bronze and contour my face, I'm going to be using the Butter Bronzer, and it's in the shade 6676. I'm going to use this to bronze and contour a little bit heavily, and then afterwards I will be setting it and just kind of blending everything into my skin. And I'm applying this with an Ulta blush brush. And then for blush, I'm actually going to be using a shade from the palette called Royal Pain, and it's actually super matte and super pigmented, so a little goes a long way with this. I started to look like a clown in this video because of it, so what I did is I just kept going with it because there was literally no way to go back, and I just set it with setting spray, and then just afterwards I just blended everything into my skin with that same Beauty complexion sponge, and it looked a lot better afterwards. But if you are going to use it for blush, like I said, just don't use a lot. A little just really takes a long way with this, and I just really like that, just so you don't have to use a lot of the product. And I really like that just because it proves that the product's gonna last you a long time, because there'll be plenty of it left in the pan. So I think that's just really good, especially for the price that you pay for. To fill in my brows a little bit more again, just to make sure that they stay in place, I will be using the Ulta Beauty Brow Tint in the shade Medium. And then for my lower lash line, I will be using an e.l.f. Precision brush and applying the shade High King and a little bit of Blood Queen also. And I'll just be applying that to my lower lash line and then buffing it out with that Deviant shade again. To highlight my inner corners and my brow bone, I will be using the shade Wet Jewel, and I just think that this is a very pretty highlight shade just for like any kind of look almost, especially with like neutrals and pink looks also. So I just think that this is a really pretty shade for highlighting, and I will also be using this on my face to highlight, and I'll be using this with the shade Beauty Sleep. And I just think that those two shades together are just a really good combination, and I really like the way that this turned out, and it definitely brought the look more together. I'm going to be applying a few coats of mascaras to my top and lower lashes, and I'm going to be using the Rimmel London Scandaleyes Wow Wings, and it's in the shade Extreme Black. I do have like a little bit of a breakout happening right now, so I'm going to be using the CoverGirl concealer stick in the shade Neutralizer and just using that. And then the last step of the whole look, I'm going to be using the Pure Matte Lipstick in the shade Guest List, and then afterwards I will be using a topper from the Stila brand. It's in the shade Blue Sky, and it's the lip gloss, And I just think that this really just brought the whole look together. I just thought it was really pretty, and the lip gloss itself is like a really high quality too, and it smells like blueberries, which is kind of funny, but I just think that it brought the whole look together. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and if you do have any other looks that you'd like me to try on with the Bloodlust palette, just let me know down below. I am giving a second one on eBay, and I'm just going to be selling it. I'm not too sure the price point, so if you have any kind of offers, just email me over eBay or just comment below, but I will be linking it in the description. And I hope you guys enjoyed this week's video, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye!